Alrighty, now let's talk about the Sputnik crisis. Now, the Sputnik crisis is going to be happening in the 50s. Now, some background you need to understand right here is in the early 1950s, the United States dominated the Soviets when it came to technology. The United States was the first country to develop the atomic bomb. They're going to have a bunch of other different technological advantages that the Soviets just don't have. One of these advantages is going to be this thing right here, which is the U-2 spy plane. Now, the U-2 spy plane is a real feat of engineering. It's a single pilot aircraft that can fly up to about 30 miles over Earth, which is so high the pilots actually have to wear a spacesuit. So they're going to be going up there, and it's going to have cameras, so it can fly so high, and it's going to be taking very detailed pictures of what's going on down below. It's going to be flying so high that Soviet fighter jets cannot shoot it down out of the sky, and initially Soviet anti-aircraft missiles cannot reach the altitude this plane is flying. So it's going to really allow the United States to have unfettered access to the Soviet Union to understand exactly what's going on down below. So the U-2 spy plane is one of these early advantages. However, there's going to become known an education gap in the mid-1950s. The United States is realizing that their education system is not up to par with the Soviets. The USSR is training 2 to 3 times as many scientists in the 1950s as the United States. Now, this is going to be a very problematic thing for the United States. So the U.S. is going to respond by actually focusing on STEM classes in school. So science, technology, engineering, and math. That is why today anyone who has an American curriculum is going to be spending so much time on math, so much time on science. It's really it's something that's lasted over from the Cold War, and it's the result of this education gap happening between the USSR and the United States of America. Then the USSR is going to launch Sputnik 1 in 1957. Now this is significant because it's the first artificial satellite launched into space. Okay, so the Soviets have beat the Americans in this regard. The Americans are trying to do this, and they simply had not gotten there. This is going to cause a major concern because it's heavily publicized that the Soviets have launched this thing into space, but no one really knows what the heck it does. There's a huge fear that this is some weapon, that the Soviets are trying to do this. In reality, it was simply just for technological advancement and scientific study, but that's not known in the United States. They're like, what is this thing that the Soviets have just put up into space? They are way better than us, and if they can put a satellite on a rocket and launch it to space, they can also put a nuclear weapon on a missile and launch it at us. This is problematic, and this is going to cause an incredible fear in the United States. The U.S. has realized really starkly at this time that they have fallen behind. The Soviets have now taken the lead in technology. This technology dominance the United States had in the 40s and early 50s is no longer happening. And they're afraid that the USSR is going to use this advanced technology against the United States. As I was just saying, they can launch a satellite into orbit. They can launch a missile at the United States with a nuclear weapon on it and really devastate the country, something the United States simply cannot do at this time. There is a huge fear in the U.S. of what might be happening. Now, Eisenhower is going to respond with his 3 stark facts. And these 3 stark facts are just real, kind of stating it as it is, of this is what's happening right now, and this is where we're at. Number 1, the USSR has surpassed the United States in scientific and technological advancements when it comes to outer space. Eisenhower is just going to be blunt and say, this is the way it is. The Soviets have better technology when it comes to getting to space. We simply don't have it. The Soviets have us beat. Number 2, if maintained, this might mean the undermining of the United States in terms of prestige and in terms of leadership. At this time, the United States is considered the most powerful country on Earth, as it is still today in 2020. However, this is something that Eisenhower is realizing. This could change if the United States doesn't really kick it into gear now. Currently, the Soviets are on track to pass the United States. This is majorly concerning for the United States of America. And lastly, is if the USSR is able to achieve superior military capability in space, it could pose a direct military threat to the United States. If the Soviets are the ones that can control outer space, they could easily dominate the United States because the U.S. simply does not have the technology to get to space at this time, which allows unfettered warfare possibly for the Soviets in space. Then on July 29th, 1958, the U.S. is going to respond by creating NASA, which is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. This is devoted to the advancement of scientific technology. It is going to be made separate of military, so that it isn't for peaceful means. in space. However, this is going to be United States' response to the Sputnik crisis. If you have any questions, comments, put it below. Otherwise, I will see you later. Good luck.